Top 10 times UFC fighters totally lost control in the Octagon. Every sport is full of action, but in mixed martial arts, the action gets a little bit rough. The fighters are filled with a unique kind of passion that makes them willing to do anything to win. Sometimes this passion turns into anger, and then they say they have blood on their hands. But all of these things are liked by the audience and help the sport's TRP. There are a lot of times when fighters lost control in the Octagon. Do you want to watch those moments? Well, keep watching MMA Guru TV for such amazing content. And let's begin our discussion. Among all of these moments which we are going to discuss, without a doubt a few genuinely mind-blowing moments. But which one takes the cake? Well, let us know in the comment box which one you think it is. At number 10, we've got Paul Daley. After the ultimate sucker punch, Dana White, who had every right to be angry, gave Daley a lifetime suspension from the UFC. In 2010, the Brit competed against Josh Koscheck in order to earn the chance to confront George St-Pierre. However, when the fight finished, the angry Daley landed a sneak hook on Koscheck, and the referee pinned him to the fence. Daley was defeated via unanimous decision, but at least he avoided going up against GSP. It was successful to some degree. Number 9, Rousimar Palhares. How is it possible to win a fight in just 31 seconds but come out on the losing end of the score? Ask Paul Harris, who kept his heel hook on Mike Pierce for way too long and added a little bit more pressure even after it was obvious that his defeated opponent had already tapped out. Due to the Brazilian's dishonorable behavior, he was not awarded the Submission of the Night prize, and the UFC terminated his contract shortly thereafter. White brought up the fact that this was not his first infraction. Number 8, Justine Kish. Poor Justine. It was not her fault that in 2017 she was losing a decision to Felice Herring. She also lost control of her bowels. This happened while Felice Herring was beating her. Unfortunately, Kish sullied the reputation of the Octagon, and I don't mean in the way that CM Punk used the phrase crap in the ring. At least she just handled everything that followed with a wonderful sense of humor. The next one is Mark Hominick. A tutorial written by Mark Hominick explains how to lose a fight and put an end to your entire career in just 8 seconds. It is never a good idea for the Korean Zombie to start a fight by throwing a ridiculously wild left hand immediately at the beginning of the match. The pre-fight favorite Hominick was knocked out by a devastating counterpunch and was driven to the mat and went on to lose all of his subsequent MMA bouts. Ouch. Who can forget Jorge Masvidal, who is in at number 6? Being completely out of control can be advantageous at times. At UFC 238, before landing a flying knee to the head of Ben Askren, who had invitingly lowered his head, Masvidal appeared to be acting a little too confidently. Boom! After only 5 seconds of fighting, Funky Ben was no longer in it, and as a result, the dispute was resolved. The knockout was completed in the quickest time in the history of the UFC. Number 5, Derrick Lewis. Derrick Lewis battled in prison, was trained by George Foreman, and saved lives during a hurricane. His Instagram is dubbed The Best. The ever-popular Derrick, My Balls is Hot Lewis, returns to action in his upcoming heavyweight bout when he faced Tai Tuivasa at UFC 271 on the undercard of Israel Adesanya vs. Robert Whittaker 2. The 37-year-old was looking for another major win. Lewis defeated Chris Daukaus via KO in December after losing to Cyril Gane the previous summer. Tuivasa was wary as Lewis had the most knockouts in UFC heavyweight history and had been a fixture in the division since 2014. Lewis was charged with serious assault and placed on probation just 2 weeks after graduating from high school. 2 weeks later, while attending Kilgore College on a full football scholarship, he violated his probation and was sentenced to 5 years in jail in 2005. He served 3.5 years, and it wasn't without incident. A year into his sentence, he began fighting with other convicts. The difficulties largely came from within our county, Lewis said at a press conference ahead of UFC 230. When I was in prison, there was only one fight. But one of my favorites is when the power went out during a game between the University of Texas and the University of Southern California, and the channel went dark. The radio came on, and all I heard was the play-by-play. So one of the guys came up to me and asked to change the channel, and I was the only one in the room watching TV anyhow, but he changed the channel from what I was watching. So I didn't say anything to him, and he went back to the bunk. So I got up, dragged him off the top bed by his legs, and just started beating up on him. I don't like talking about it, Lewis stated. Lewis became a tow truck driver after he was released from prison, and a friend introduced him to mixed martial arts. It wasn't long before a chance meeting at his gym led to him being taken under the wing of famed boxer George Foreman. One of his coaches, came to my gym years ago. It was around 2009 or 2010. They wanted me to come to his gym and spar one of his guys to see if I was good enough to face his son, Monk, in a pro bout. And I ended up throwing really well against the person they had me spar with. So he didn't want me to fight his son anymore. He wanted me to come up under his wing and teach me the boxing stuff, Lewis explained. Our number 4 position is also occupied by Derrick Lewis as we continue. A year before Lewis's testicles were roasted, the man himself got very hot against Travis Brown. Lewis was the target of his anger. However, referee Mario Yamasaki absolutely needs to share the spot with someone else. He was the one who allowed the battle to last far longer than it should have, allowing Lewis to waste punches on an obviously defenseless Brown for precious extra time. After the match, the Beast expressed his gratitude to the referee for giving him the chance. Number 3, Mirko Cro Cop. Cro Cop, a fighter from Croatia, was the favorite going into the heavyweight title eliminator for the UFC in 2007. However, he was not able to handle Gabriel Gonzaga in any way. The Brazilian fighter knocked him out with a devastating head kick that sent Mirko tumbling to the ground like a wrecked structure after he was knocked out by a series of blows to the temple. Savage. In our second position, George St-Pierre. At UFC 269, an enormous and unanticipated change of fortune took place, appropriately enough. GSP was supposed to have no trouble controlling Matt Serra, but he never did, and the fight ended with a Serra win. The underdog Serra knocked out one of the UFC's all-time greats in the first round to pull off the upset. Despite the fact that GSP regained his welterweight championship the following year, Serra will never lose his claim to that one great night. George St-Pierre, a legend in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, recently discussed the lessons he took away from his unexpected defeat at the hands of Matt Serra at UFC 269 in 2007. In spite of the fact that Serra was a significant underdog headed into the bout, the victory is still regarded as one of the most remarkable upsets in the history of the UFC. During a conversation with Michael Eaves that aired on the pre-show for ABC's UFC 277, George St-Pierre discussed the repercussions of underestimating Matt Serra. The main event of UFC 69 took place at the Toyota Center in Houston, Texas on April 7, 2007, and featured a bout between the two combatants. And now at number 1, we've got the moments of Wanderlei Silva and Chael Sonnen at the top of our list. Two guys, neither of whom could be restrained by a cage, are tied for first place in this competition in the 3rd season of The Ultimate Fighter Brazil. The two coaches, who were also rivals, got into an unannounced brawl not more than a few feet from where the fight was taking place. As the two continued to throw punches at one another, the respective teams had to intervene and pull them away. Both parties continue to this day to maintain that the incident was begun by the other individual. To tell the truth, an outstanding model in every respect. So we've reached the end of our video today, fans, and we'll meet again in our next one. We hope you enjoyed this one, and if you have any further questions or comments for us, or any other feedback, as always, you're invited to leave them in the comments section below. Thanks for spending time with us today, and we'll look forward to hanging out with you in our next video. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.